Well, hey folks, this is Fire Larry and Charlie. And Charlie's sitting in the car, and I'm out walking around. We're going to do a little history tour here of the Greensboro Depot. And this is located in Greensboro, Florida. And this is part of the Apalachicola Northern Railroad. The depot was built in 1907. It's about a block away from here originally. And the rail here is a short rail. Originally went all the way down to Apalachicola, up from Chattahoochee, Florida. And today it doesn't go that far. It goes south to the community of Hosford. There is a plant there, a wood plant that they service back up to Apalachicola. It was constructed originally to help service the community. A lot of turpentine was processed in this area, and it was used because the Apalachicola River was just too busy. So it was built in 1907, and we'll walk up to the depot itself. And you know, this kind of reminds me back when I was a kid. Back in the 1950s, I lived in a small community called Kenville, New Jersey. And I remember across the street from our house was a depot building just about this size. And it was being used as a home. And the family that lived there, they had a couple of kids around my age. And I used to go over and visit with them. And I remember that in the front, just as this one has, there were two rooms, and they were used as bedrooms. And in the center of the building, as this one probably is on the inside, it's now a museum, there was a wide open space for passengers to sit on benches. And as I remember, they had some benches still left in their depot. And then on the end of the building was a kitchen, and I remember they had a wood burning stove for heat and to cook on, and that's where they generally congregated because the center was awful dark, as I recall. So a little bit of history there. I remember growing up, and this is a nice depot building that's been now converted into a museum, and it's pretty neat. Good place to visit if you're ever in this area. It's right off of I-10 outside of Tallahassee. Probably about a 20-minute drive to the west. And they built this building here. This building is being used as a meeting room. But what they have just installed, and it wasn't here the last time I was here, is a caboose. And this caboose was just brought in, apparently, within the last several months. And, yeah, it's pretty neat. And as you can see, it looks to be all original, for the most part. I would imagine they had to bring it in on rail and then use a crane to install it on these rails that were placed next to the buildings. Pretty neat. There's Charlie in there with my son Jason. He's also a rail fan. Jason actually got me interested in trains, although I've always lived near trains. But we go out and about. A little more history that I remember from a child. My grandpa was a gatekeeper in Dover, New Jersey for the Lackawanna Railroad. And I remember going there with my mom. I was probably 8 or 9, so that had to be around 1958, 59. And I remember my grandpa going out and lowering the gate by hand and swinging a lantern to make sure people knew the gate was down. And I did that probably a few times. And then they went ahead and replaced the old gatekeeper shack with a modern built building with all the controls. And it wasn't too long thereafter he retired. And it was interesting. So yeah, a little bit of my history, remembering what I remember from the my grandpa and then my neighbors across the street living in a depot. And that depot had actually been moved there. I don't know where it originally was in Kenville, but yeah, interesting. A good hobby too. If you're not a rail fan, it's an interesting hobby, and it gives you a chance to get out and about and see things. And I would encourage folks looking for a hobby to consider being a rail fan. And if you got kids, they probably would enjoy it. Give them a chance to go out and see something different. So we're here in Greensboro, Florida. The Apalachicola Northern Railroad only goes through here about, I think it's once a week on Wednesday. Don't know if we missed it yet or not. It leaves the Georgia Pacific plant in Hosford and ends up in Chattahoochee, Florida. Well, folks, have a great day, and I hope you enjoyed it. Take care.